Okay, if you're not caught up on The Walking Dead, we are going to be talking about stuff involving the Season 8 mid-season finale. So that's Episode 8 of Season 8. And if you're not caught up on that, you may want to skip this for the time being, and come back later. For the rest of you, I realize that last week I said I wasn't going to do a weekly Walking Dead thing, and then of course a week later I'm doing a Walking Dead thing. But this is kind of the original idea that I had for the Walking Dead therapy. This is when this stuff is just lingering on my brain, got to get it out. And when it comes to the Season 8 mid-season finale, of course, as you know, the last 2 minutes of that episode was quite a bombshell. Affected not only the rest of the season, but the rest of the series as a whole. As Carl revealed that he had been bit, and something that happened a couple of episodes earlier when he went back out to get Sadiq threw me so much I just kind of rambled through that last Walking Dead therapy after that episode. I couldn't remember people's names and completely forgot about to talk about Alexandria being destroyed and all that. But as you might expect, Carl fans, Walking Dead fans, are losing their freaking mind. And I've been seeing a lot of people, and of course there are people that say, I'm not going to watch the show anymore. And I'm willing to bet 75 to 80, maybe 90% of those people in February are going to be sitting in front of their TV watching the damn show. But I think they may very well lose a few viewers. And of course there are fan theories out the Yahoo about why they did this. And I guess I just kind of got to run through that, because none of them make any sense when it gets down to it. One of the theories I wanted to touch on was Chandler Riggs wanted to go to college, and it was Chandler's choice to leave the show. Yes, he wanted to go to college. I think he has already taken some classes or something, but he chose a college in Georgia where they filmed the show. He bought a house in Georgia where they filmed the show. The way they filmed this show and the way they do anything, it's entirely possible for them to have worked around him taking classes and he remain on the show. Everything that I've seen from cast members, from Chandler Riggs, Andrew Lincoln, this came as a shock to everybody. This was out of the blue. Andrew Lincoln said that he thought that that's the way it would go, that Rick would eventually, symbolically hand the keys over to Carl in later years. So Chandler Riggs wanting to go to college, I don't think would have to have interfered with the Carl Grimes character on the show. If you notice, they'll go 2 or 3 episodes and we don't even see Rick. So it would have been pretty easy to kind of write Carl out of 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes a season and make a quick appearance here and there, and he still would be able to go to college, and you still had that future of the show. So that's not it. This was not a decision made by Chandler Riggs. He did not want to leave the show. His character was written out. As I've often seen people use the word fired, but I don't know why they keep saying, well, he was fired. Everybody else was written off. The show was written out, but he's fired. But whatever. It was not his decision anyway, any more than it was Andrea's decision to go. Or, well, I guess the only one really was Glenn. Because when Stephen Yeun read that part in the comic, he told the producers, you can't give that death to anybody else. You've got to give that death to me. So in that sense, he called his own shot there. But another theory going around is, and I'll word this fairly carefully. It has to do with the comic and the characters, the Whisperers. And this theory is that it wasn't a real zombie. It was one of these Whisperers. Now, I don't want to give too much away for people that don't read the comic. I actually don't read the comic either, but I have caught wind enough about the Whisperers to know that ain't it. And I think a lot of people that come up with this are probably much like me. They are aware of some of the things in the comic, and maybe they're just wanting to make themselves sound smarter than they are, and they end up making themselves sound dumber than they are. Because these people called Whisperers, and I've mentioned them before, so I'll just go ahead and say that they do use dead people's skin to camouflage themselves, and so they can walk among the walkers. They don't bite people. They're real people, so that it's not like they're going to act like a walker walking towards a human, especially when there's only 2 or 3 of them standing around there. Now, one theory that was around it held some water until more information came out, was that the bite went through Carl's clothing. It wasn't mouth to skin. And it was kind of a theory that, well, even though it's a bite, maybe the bacteria from the mouth didn't get in the bite, and so he didn't get the infection. That actually makes some sense, but everything that has come out since then, they have said, no, it's a bite, and it's going to play out like other bites do. Chandler Riggs has commented on the fact that he's not going to be on the show anymore. He's only going to be on one more episode. Andrew Lincoln has commented on it, and there have been others. So yeah, while that could have been a good theory, it's just other things that have come out. I don't think that's going to be it either. And then finally, there's the theory that the whole thing is a ruse. They're making people think that Carl is going to die and be written off the show. And if it's a ruse, it is the most detailed, complicated ruse in the history of television. Just all the things that have come out. Chandler Riggs' dad, he runs some kind of tour thing there around Georgia, and has a Facebook page for it and all that. If you go over to Ronnie Hayes at Make a Pass Presents, he was actually making a video and had this Facebook page up at that time, Chandler Riggs' dad's tour page. At the moment, something was deleted. So Chandler Riggs' dad, in the comment section, said some things that were very, I guess, uncomplimentary about AMC and Scott Gimple, and said they were, just shocked by it and everything. As Ronnie was making this video, he went back to it and it was gone. So while Ronnie was making that video in real time, Chandler Riggs' dad actually deleted that entire thread. I suspect because he said that, and then Chandler said, "Dude, you can't do that. This industry doesn't work like that. You don't want to cut me off completely from the show. I can still go to Walker Stalker and stuff like that." So he took the thing down. I just can't imagine this being a ruse. After some of the heat they got from the fake out Glenn death when he crawled under the dumpster, they got by with that. I can't imagine this. They're going to tick too many people off if this is this much of a organized ruse to fake people out, and so I don't think that's it either. Somewhere along the way, I'm not for sure if this is from Gimple or if it's from somebody else, but there's something out there saying, well, this is to help the story along, because they had to give Rick a reason. And I guess since this is coming from somebody with AMC, it's okay to say that they're going to keep Negan alive, which that kind of sucks too. Of course, if people that read the comic book know that in the comic book Negan lives on, but people that watch the TV show didn't necessarily know that. But apparently the plan is to imprison Negan. And they said, well, they need a reason for Rick to not kill Negan and imprison him instead. And it seems to me that you could have done that without killing Carl. Now, if that's the case, if that's the reason that they did this, number one, they could have not had Rick say he was going to kill Negan every episode, and not made it that big of a deal. I think what they could have done, maybe should have done, was you get some of these, you get Carl, you get Jesus, you get people that are of that frame of mind to convince Maggie, who I think would have been oddly enough, a softer nut to crack on this. Convince her that we can't just be barbarians, we have to, eventually we're going to have to steer things back toward the society that we once knew. You get Maggie on that team, and then Maggie convinces Rick. Maybe even Michonne kind of softens on it. You get enough people that has Rick's ear. I think that would be believable enough. I think people would accept it, especially with Maggie on that side. You didn't have to kill off Carl. Didn't have to kill off Carl with him saying that he had hope for the future and you can't keep doing this and stuff like that, and Rick deciding, well, for my son I will do this. That whole thing about it being to further the story and keep Negan alive, that reeks of an excuse. I think there's something much deeper. There's something we may not know for years. It's something, I don't know if it's something from higher up. Gimple has become the whipping boy on this. There are Fire Gimple campaigns out there. And, he has become the target of disgust. I'm not so sure this was Scott Gimple's decision. I think it may very well have come from somebody higher up at AMC. So there's something else going on. If it's money, I don't want to cast too many aspersions here, but maybe there was something centered on dealing with Chandler Riggs that the network or the producers or somebody just said, we can't deal with this anymore. I hate to make. I don't think it's necessarily Chandler himself, but use your imagination. But it's something. I think it's something a lot deeper than anything on screen, anything on the surface of behind the scenes. And it's something we may not find out about for 3 or 4 years. It's kind of like there was, with Andrea, there was a whole lot going on behind the scenes and that we didn't know about until just recently, like the last year or so. This may be one of those things, when they're getting ready for season 11, we may find out, oh well, this was going on, and that's the real reason that they killed off Carl. But I think more than anything, I know people love Carl, and Carl's one of their favorite characters. It stunned the hell out of me. But just you have to accept that this character is going to go the way that other characters have gone, and we are going to have to say goodbye to him after the first episode of the second half of this season, episode 9 of season 8. We'll be saying goodbye to Carl. It sucks. It makes no sense. It completely changes the foundation that this entire series is built on. I have no idea where they're going to go from here as far as the story. That's basically all I just wanted to get out. Haven't really come across anything new as far as news for The Walking Dead. It's because it's all been about Carl being bit. But as I said, eventually we'll find out what's really going on. I don't think we're going to get the whole story anytime soon. So thanks for listening to me ramble. If you want to check out some of my other Walking Dead stuff, check out the playlist, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.